Welcome to the good, the bad, and the ugly of Payback 2020. The rules are simple. Number one, every match on the main card gets a tally in either the good, the bad, or the ugly column. Rule number two, stay away from that ugly column. Because at the end of this review, every ugly gets canceled out and turns into two bads. And that'll drastically change the outcome in deciding if this was a good or bad pay-per-view. It has in the past, and it will again. Stay away from the ugly column. Rule number three, in the event of a tiebreaker, and only in the event of a tiebreaker, will we go to the kickoff show match, which in this case was the Iconics versus Two-Thirds, the bootleg version, the almost Riot Squad from the past. But only should we go into a tiebreaker situation will we get into that kickoff show match. I am clearly on location still. I took a birthday hiatus several days ago. Nothing ever goes according to plan. I'm too spontaneous for that. And of course I wound up across the country. But it's all good, Amp Unit. We're rocking out and we're amplifying the country. I found a little remote, small, nice town to kind of reside in during this review. There's a set of train tracks. You may hear a train or two passing by. It's a little loud a couple of streets away. Maybe you'll hear some vehicles. But for the most part, I think I can get this review in maybe a half an hour, maybe even 45 minutes. We'll see. But it's a good little spot to kind of pull over in. And then we'll be back on our way. Once I find out where the fuck I am, we'll get back on the highway. And maybe I'll be back with you guys for the Raw review and reaction tomorrow. That's the plan. Nothing ever goes according to plan, though, with yours truly. But for this Payback review, I wanted to get something out to you guys, even if it's audio form only. I wanted to make sure you guys heard my words, because a lot has happened in the last week since I've been away from you guys. Roman Reigns turning heel is the big story. He was side by side Paul Heyman on that couch on Friday night, and that got everybody speculating. But after last night, it's kind of clear now. This is actually happening. Roman Reigns turning heel. Forget everything else. Forget the fact, I know, logic, common sense, and everything tells you that once the bell rings, Roman shouldn't have even been in the fucking match. Listen, relax. Let's see what trumps what. In this circumstance, the fact that we have all, or a lot of us anyway, have been begging, complaining, bitching, moaning for Roman Reigns to turn heel. And it is finally happening after all these years. It is finally happening. If you think I'm going to harp on the negatives of last night, and that's going to trump what is finally happening, Roman Reigns needs this more than anybody. The fans needed it because we were sick and tired of the in-betweener Roman. Roman goes out there every show, every month, year after year, and he gets 50%, if he's lucky, to cheer for him, and at least 50% not even caring about him on the card. That's the truth. We were sick of it. We're tired of it. It was getting nauseous when we heard, Dan, it's the big dog. Who is it, Michael Cole? The big dog. We were getting fucking nauseous. It was getting stale. It was redundant. It was just, it needed to go. There needed to be a change. And we demanded it. We begged for it. Year after year, the old man was so stubborn. He kept parading Roman out in the same situations, the same type of title matches, the same type of WrestleMania main events, the same type of high-profile pay-per-view spots. In the process, holding other people that actually had the potential to be that top face, holding them back. And we said, why, man? The ratings are dropping. Merchandise is dropping. Fans are leaving in droves. Why not just try turning him heel? He needs it more than the fans. He needs to see if he truly has that it factor. He needs to know if he could be a true legit bad guy / heel in this business to see another side of him. What he was when he was with the Shield, that was not at all what I consider a true, bona fide singles heel run. He was with his clique and they were already being groomed to be a top group in that company. Obvious, clear as day, they were going to be faces. This is his first and most legit true heel run he will ever have. And it means the most. It's years overdue, but sometimes it's better late than never. There was a lot of bullshit that happened in last night's main event. A lot of shit that makes you scratch your head and you're kind of befuddled the next day about. Stupid, ignorant booking, you could say that. But at the end of the day, what has just happened this week in WWE? What has just happened in pro wrestling? Roman Reigns has just turned heel. I don't care if it wasn't how you would have done it. I don't care if there was a lot of loopholes and a lot of common sense that wasn't so common, illogical bullshit. I don't care what happened in the process. We got what we have been yearning for. There is no way that you could possibly just shit on that today unless you just don't like anything. Rejoice, my friends. Rejoice. Rejoice. Roman is a heel. Oh, we're gonna talk about it now on the good, the bad, and I swear to you, the ugly of Payback 2020. Match 1 was the United States Championship match. Champion Apollo taking on challenger Bobby Lashley. Bell time start to finish clocked in at 9 minutes. Even though it was only 9 minutes, it was actually a good match. Finish saw Bobby Lashley defeat Apollo with the full Lashley, and Lashley is your new United States Champion. Post-match, Apollo attacks Lashley, and I quote, starts screaming, "I'll get my title back." A, that's a long shot, kid. Good luck with that. B, would anybody give a shit? We were hoping Apollo was going to get an actual push when he got that championship. I didn't quite see that. I don't think I cared about Apollo more when he had the championship than when he didn't have the championship. That's just the truth. So if Apollo is to get the championship back, that's fine. But damn it, man, have something for him. That's all we're asking for. Have something for him. It's not a hard concept to grasp. The title isn't going to make the man. The man makes the title. Without proper booking, the championships mean shit. As far as the match, like I said, it was actually a good match. Nothing I couldn't have just seen on a Monday Night Raw, to be honest. On a pay-per-view, no, didn't need to see it. But whatever, we're just kicking the night off. Maybe I'm feeling generous. I'm putting this sumbitch into the good column. Mostly because Lashley finally has a fucking championship. And this is a dude that when he returned a couple of years ago, we thought he'd have way more title reigns, or at least a couple of lengthy reigns. Something more. This dude could have been taking on Brock Lesnar. And now he's dancing around with Rusev fighting over Lana. Hold on, guys. I got a bee flying around me right now. Make your move, you little shit. You either come in peace or you try to sting me, but I will not hesitate to crush you. You've been warned. Come on, make your move, you little shit. Make it! Make it! Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, he flew away. Where the fuck was I? Yes, so match number 1, I'm feeling generous, top of the show. I want something much more energetic. I want something that really captivates our attention and gets us excited for the rest of the show. We did not get that in match 1, but we did get a good match. Lashley becoming champion. It's made sense for months now, probably since he's gotten back, so it's long overdue. I hate raising somebody else up by tearing somebody else down. So I don't know what the fuck that says about Apollo, but that's kind of the theme of the night last night, right? For Payback. A lot of people finally got what they've been deserved for months and even years. And then there's other people that were kind of torn down because of it. I don't like that necessarily, but the good far outweighed the bad, at least in this scenario. And a couple of other scenarios as we go down this card as well. But match number 1, call me generous, I'm putting in the good. I didn't see enough bad. And again, if Apollo has anything to say about it, he's going to get his title back. And what, do we play hot potato with this shit? Does anybody want to see Lashley and Apollo play hot potato for the next 3 months? Me neither. All right, match number 2 was Big E taking on Sheamus. This was a 13-minute match. Let me find out there's a fucking train going through my review video. A fucking train, really? Honk one more time, you son of a bitch. Well, I'll be damned. A fucking choo-choo train just rolled through my review video. Conductor is probably related to Vince and Kenny McMahon, you dumb schmuck. Where the fuck was I? Big E taking on Sheamus, 13-minute match. At first I was like, this is just a regular SmackDown match that I don't need to see. Just like the United States Championship match before it with Apollo and Bobby Lashley. It's the same thing with Big E and Sheamus. This is a SmackDown match at best. Why am I seeing it at a pay-per-view? But as the match went on, I enjoyed it more and more. And Big E securing a W with that big ending was definitely the right call. But just like Bobby Lashley winning that championship, what does that say about Apollo? Where do you go next with Apollo? It's the same thing with Big E and Sheamus. That's great for Big E. Long overdue to have this singles push. And these little, what seems like meaningless pay-per-view victories, they will add up in time for Big E, hopefully. But what the fuck are you doing with Sheamus? This dude was in that long storyline with Jeff Hardy, and he was the ultimate failure. He's in this storyline with Big E, he's the ultimate failure. This is a former world champion. My question is, what do you do next with Sheamus? Who knows? But that's a serious problem in itself for that company. But on the flip side, Big E securing that W and the match becoming better as it went on over the course of the 13 minutes. Again, call me generous. I'm putting this into the good only because if I am being fair, which I always am more than anybody, and I mean anybody in this community, if I'm being fair as always, there's not enough bad to overtake the good here. So we're 2 in the good. But trust me, if match 3 doesn't pick it the fuck up, if match 3 is not a match that I could easily see on Raw or SmackDown, I'm telling you right now, it's going immediately into the bad section. And that's only if I'm being generous still. Because if I'm not, if I'm pissed off, because trust me, it may seem like I'm pissed off, but I'm not right now. But if I get pissed off, the next match will go directly into the fucking ugly. Why even waste time, man? Let's just go right to the next match right now. King Corbin versus Matt Riddle is match number 3. This is an 11-minute match. Riddle wins with a bro to sleep and floating bro combo. This was a mediocre match and in no way pay-per-view worthy, especially following nothing special in match number 1 and match number 2. They went to the good column only because I didn't have enough bad to put it anywhere else. That's the only reason match number 1 and match number 2 went into the good. Match number 3 had to come out swinging, and it came out like a fucking dud. Match number 3 came out like a fucking dud, probably because they had a dud in the match, 50% of it, and his name is Baron freaking Dud Corbin. Baron, I'm boring as fuck, Corbin. This is nothing I could not have seen just on SmackDown. I didn't even want to see it on SmackDown either. Main event. I didn't need to see this at the local bingo hall. I'd rather Luigi Lugnuts, my local pizza delivery guy, taking on Fuckwad Fred and Danny Dipshit Dugenheimer in a handicap match. And you could throw in batshit crazy Becky as a special guest ring announcer and special guest referee kooky cockeyed Karen. And it wouldn't make a fucking difference. It'd be better than seeing Matt Riddle versus Baron Corbin, I assure you. This absolutely goes into the fucking ugly section. I don't care if people get pissed off, because I am an original bro. I love Matt Riddle. And you may say, BC, this isn't worthy of being in the ugly, man. Bad, maybe. Ugly, no, BC. No, this is my fucking review, and I am fair and consistent as always. I don't care what mood I'm in. I am still going to be fair and consistent to a T. But you do not give us Apollo versus Bobby Lashley, followed by Big E versus Sheamus, followed by Matt Riddle versus Baron Corbin, and I'm supposed to sit back as a viewer and think this is a special event pay-per-view. No. The ugly isn't even just for Baron Corbin or Matt Riddle. It is for management for booking that type of a fucking card 7 nights after SummerSlam. We could play it easy and play it safe and say, hey, BC, at least it's something, man. They're giving us an extra event. Let's just enjoy it. But if you're a billion-dollar conglomerate company with 614 writers and a supposed genius in Vincent Kennedy McMahon, then I demand more than just a good show. Or, hey, at least it's something. Or, hey, we should just sit back and enjoy it no matter what, BC. You do it, I have a review show to conduct for thousands of people. I'm not gonna bullshit around just because I was supposed to sit back and enjoy it. Must have missed that memo. I could have easily put this in the bad just for the booking. It's fucking ugly, it's atrocious. The first half of the night is basically over. At least the first hour plus is over at this point. And I've seen nothing that warrants a special event or pay-per-view title on this thing. Nothing. Ugly counts for 2 bads when this thing is all said and done. So right now, we're basically tied up. It's too good and too bad for all intents and purposes. Match number 4 was the women's tag team title match. Champions Sasha Banks and Bayley taking on challengers Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. This was an 11-minute match. And finally, we got something on this card that was meaningful. Something we actually cared about. There's a crazy concept. We got something on this card that we were interested in. Right, the concept of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax actually finally hit me last night. Changes mouse, girls! With Shayna Baszler, I mean, that's a formidable tag team. If they actually ever wanted to give them the titles, man, could they steamroll for a year, and I would believe it. Shayna's a fucking badass in this world. The world of pro wrestling, no doubt. And Nia Jax? Changes mouse, girls! Well, shit. I definitely believe that storyline-wise, too, now with Shayna. Hold on, I got another train coming on. Yeah, come on through. Fuck it. I'm not making a review for thousands of people. No, I'm twiddling my fucking thumbs. Yeah, fuck you, too. Oh, I tell ya. Anyway, where was I? So I believe in this team, man, if they ever wanted to give them the tag titles. I didn't think it'd be fucking last night, but it made sense. Let me tell you this. That's exactly what happened. Before I get to it, there was a great sequence by Bayley and Sasha. Nia was on the mat, Bayley hits the flying elbow, and then Sasha simultaneously hits the splash via Eddie Guerrero. That frog splash from the top, and Nia kicked out. And the face on Sasha and Bayley, I mean, that's what makes them so amazing. It's not just that they're good wrestlers, because we know that. They're phenomenal. Sasha, in every fucking check mark, she's got it. Bayley, we're starting to see what we saw in NXT. Oh, there he is. There's Lawn Mowing Larry. Mick Fucknuts over there. Yep, go to town. I'm not making a review. Oh, I tell you, everybody's out now. Fucking A. Even halfway across the fucking country, I can't make a fucking 30-minute video in some fucking peace. So man, it's not just that they're great wrestlers, Sasha and Bayley. Let me tell you this, man. The fact that they don't waste a moment in that ring. They don't waste a moment. You watch after Bayley hits the flying elbow, the frog splash is hit by Sasha, Nia kicks out, and you watch the expression, the mannerisms that Bayley and Sasha are giving one another face to face. And they're like, wow, that was it. That was the Hail Mary. We just went for it. That was everything. That was our best chance. And we failed. What the fuck do we do now? You saw it, you felt it in their fucking face. And I loved it. That's what makes a superstar awesome. Not just good, and you listen to me, not just decent, but really fucking awesome. That's what makes them fucking great. Mannerisms, promos, you name it. That's what makes them fucking amazing. Yeah, keep mowing, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna fucking crack you in half. Keep mowing. Keep fucking mowing. That's right. Look at me once. Look at me! Yeah, that's what I thought. Turn away, you fuckwad. Anyway. So much in this match, man, I was so proud of. And the ending was just fucking fantastic. I never thought I would say that with Sasha losing a fucking championship. But I can't make this shit up. Shayna Baszler had a fucking leg submission on Bayley. She had the fucking arm, what was it, the Karabuta on Sasha. Both submissions locked on Bayley and Sasha simultaneously. And I swear to you, at one point, Shayna Baszler grabbed the arm of Sasha and choked out Bayley with it. While both submissions were locked. And Baszler picks up the W and the tag championships for her and Nia by herself. Shayna Baszler became tag strap holders last night. Post-match, Nia Jax celebrates like she actually did something. I guess she did. She survived that flying elbow and frog splash. But it was Shayna Baszler who stole the moment, stole the show. They became tag strap holders, and that's what I mean. I'm hard-pressed. Sasha, my girl, loses the tag straps 7 days after she loses the Raw Championship, and now it's Sasha no belts. Sasha no straps. It's no belts Banks. 7 days ago, she was walking into SummerSlam with 2 championship titles. 7 days later, she has none. But the story, my friends, means so much more than my personal fandom for Sasha. I'm willing to put that aside for the grander scheme, the grander picture, which is Bayley and Sasha eventually for that championship. I just saw Lawn Mowing fucking Larry literally crash into a fucking stop sign. I don't know if you guys heard that. Lawn Mowing Larry just crashed into a stop sign, looked all over like nobody was watching. I was watching, you lawn mowing dipshit. That was fucking loud. Hopefully you guys picked that. I don't know. I just thought that was hilarious. Where was I? So Sasha now has no fucking belts, and I'm telling you right now, if this was any other scenario, I'd let my fandom shine. But the greater picture here is Sasha picking up that title from Bayley, that SmackDown Women's Championship, eventually, and holding that for a very long time. It'll be Sasha's longest reigning title reign, I can fucking speak, that she has ever had. And that's not saying much because she's only had a few weeks at a time. So if she holds it fucking a month and a half, it'll be her longest title reign. But that is how the story should go. You're building it beautifully. It's only a few years too late, but at least you're trying again. And now Sasha has no championships. And it was Bayley that tapped out. It wasn't Sasha. So again, the story is sitting in their lap. Should they choose to go with it? Should Sasha choose, or WWE and the old man in Stamford, Connecticut choose to have Sasha take on Bayley and eventually win that championship, then all of this, my friends, was beautifully told. If that's not what happens, then everything that has happened leading up to whatever happens next is absolute bullshit. But I've been trying to see any loopholes, any cracks in the system here of this story, because I was going to call it out. But I like what's being told. And the way Shayna Baszler won those straps last night, I can't shit on that. So I'm willing to put my Sasha fandom aside. This is a pro-Sasha channel, you know that. But I'm seeing the greater picture. If we get Bayley and Sasha for that title down the road, and they gave them 20 to 25 minutes at least, you, my friends, like I, will be immensely intrigued, intuned, and excited for that fucking match. And as it happens, we'll be fucking glued to our TV sets, I assure you. Because Bayley and Sasha, I've seen what they could do in the past. You gotta believe they're gonna up their game even more so the next time around. I have high expectations for Bayley and Sasha. Go ahead, fuckwad! Yeah! Yeah, you like that? You better go faster, because I'll get ya! Fuckwad. Sorry, it's BC versus the fucking train systems today. Anyway, as you can see, Lawn Mowing Larry smashed into the stop sign. I haven't seen him since. He fucking ran away. He's gonna be fucking getting fined by whatever town I'm in right now. I tell you, man. So anyway, this obviously goes into the good column, guys. I love the story that's being told with Sasha and Bayley. Sasha, no belts now, is going to lead to Sasha, hopefully, being jealous, envious, pissed off with Bayley. Bayley's the one that tapped too. It's always been Bayley that has helped contribute to her title losses, but Bayley somehow still has her championship. Hopefully, the story is told correctly. And Shayna Baszler, man, wow, what a badass. This is her best booking that she has had on the main roster, and it just happens to be tied at the hip with She Injures Mouse Girls. But whatever, it is what it is, man. We'll have her tag along to the real fucking threat, which is Shayna Baszler. So, pretty badass match 4, and that was for the first time last night. The first time I saw a match that I actually gave a shit about, a match that delivered, a match that was pay-per-view-esque, a match that had story, a match that gave us intrigue. I liked it. That's all I fucking asked for. Match number 5 was Keith Lee versus Randy Orton. This was only a 7-minute match. Keith Lee defeated Randy Orton in just 7 minutes via the Spirit Bomb. A monumental first pay-per-view match for Lee. There's no way I can put this anywhere other than the good column, guys. So the first 2 matches I put into the good column just because there wasn't enough bad, but it was mostly me being generous. Match number 3, I was done being generous. Matt Riddle and Baron Corbin on a pay-per-view is not going to cut it. That went directly into the fucking ugly because that was 3 matches in the row that I didn't give a fuck about. So the ugly obviously turns into 2. So we were tied going into the 4th match, but match 4 and match 5 were both good. The Women's Tag Team Championship match I loved. And then Keith Lee and Randy Orton, I enjoyed. So now we're back at 4-2, if you cancel out that ugly. So a strong match 4 and 5. And again, match 5, Randy Orton lost his match in just 7 minutes. I don't necessarily like that at all because it's Randy fucking Orton, and he lost via a backslide at SummerSlam. A backslide at SummerSlam. That's how you treat one of your best heels in this business, one of the best pro wrestlers on fire right now in this world of professional wrestling. He is one of the best right now, not 10 years ago, not 15. Right now, he's one of the best. And you have him get beat via a backslide, and then 7 nights later, you have him get beat in 7 minutes. This is not how I would book Randy Orton, but Randy Orton is so fucking good, he will not lose anything from this. I'm telling you right now. Anybody, nearly anybody else, I would say this is going to be hard to get back from. Randy Orton is like one of the rare dudes that is easily going to bounce back from this, because he's so fucking good. He's so fucking good. And what this does for Keith Lee, can you stop for a second? While the whole community, I've been gone for a good week now. A good week I've been gone, and when I come back, I'm hearing people crying over his theme music. Crying that he's buried because of his theme music. Shut the fuck up. Does it need to be rectified? Yes. Did Keith Lee say we will eventually rectify it? Yes. Relax. Everybody's buried to you some bitches. Sometimes this community makes me fucking nauseous, dude. Everybody is buried to you people. Bray Wyatt was buried. Every single time something happens to Bray Wyatt the Fiend, he's buried. He's buried. And then he comes out and he captivates you with another segment because Bray Wyatt is fucking captivating. He's brilliant. He's a genius. People like that will never be buried truly. But according to some fucking hotshot pipsqueak mouth talkers out there, he's buried. This is it, man. Bray Wyatt's buried. He's buried. He's fucking buried. Did you hear what happened to Bray? He got buried. Shut up. You're making me fucking nauseous and you're pissing me off. I tell ya, here comes another fucking train wreck Charlie over here. Come on through. Yep, everybody. Come on, send everybody. Vince McMahon's family members all conducting this shit. The Hop-Along Express. Where is it? I hear it fucking chewing somewhere. I know you're around. I heard you fucking chewing. Choo choo chugga chugga, you damn misfit fuck. Vince McMahon's Moron Express. Anyway, I'm sure that's gonna come by any second, guys. Apologize for the more fucking distractions. This whole review is one distraction after another, and I don't know why. I'm fucking loving it, man. I get to be even more amplified, and I get to yell at an entire fucking town that I'm not even familiar with. I'm never gonna be allowed back in this fucking place. Hey, there he is. Yeah, woohoo! Yeah, Vince! Tell Vince I said hi, the dumb fuck! Yeah, there you are. Yep, there you go. There's Vince's uncle. Stupid, silly Steve. There you go. All right. All right. At least that one was a little quieter. So, where the fuck was I? Yeah, Randy Orton will be fine with this, and you have Keith Lee. This means the world. I mean, Keith Lee winning this fucking match the way he did means more than how Randy Orton lost this match. And that's why that's in the good column, guys. The match, obviously, isn't what's putting into the good. What this does for Keith Lee, this brand new superstar, nobody wants to talk about that. His music, man! His fucking music! I can't do this! Why are they changing it? First of all, there's reasons behind the scene as to why, alright? It's business 101. Relax. Nobody's happy about it, but can we just support the guy? Support him! This guy came last week! He debuted last week! He goes on his social, he's probably wanting some love! You guys are trashing him! Beats Orton in 7 minutes. He probably goes on social looking for some love. You guys are trashing him. You can't win in this fucking community. You claim you want something. Keith Lee comes over. He calls out the biggest dog in the yard, man. This is like a dude, first day in prison. He goes up to the biggest prison inmate and he smacks him in the mouth so the rest of the yard knows not to fuck with him. That's what Keith Lee did. And then a week later, he's pinning him in 7 fucking minutes. Via the spirit bomb, man. Fucking be happy for him. Be happy for him. We'll bitch. We'll complain. We'll try to get the music changed. Relax. We got you. But first be happy for the son bitch. Thanks. BC says thanks. Oh, man. I tell you. 5 matches in. I got 4 in the good, man. 2 of them, again, I was generous, but I got 4 in the good. Wasn't enough bad to put those goods, to switch those goods anyway in the first 2 matches. And I got 1 in the ugly just because I was fed up by match 3. I was done with just seeing regulation matches. Nothing felt like a pay-per-view going into match number 3, Riddle and Corbin. Here we are a few matches later in this review, and I don't feel bad at all for putting that into the ugly column. Nope. I stay with that decision. Match number 6, this was Rey and Dominic Mysterio taking on Rollins and Murphy. This was a 17-minute match, and I don't care how good this match was, and it was good, by the way. I already saw this past Monday night on Raw. The same exact match I saw on Raw. They gave this match away 6 nights ago. Had a bullshit finish with Retribution, and tried to sell us on it again at a pay-per-view. No way, dude. This goes directly into the bad. BC, it was a good match, man. I understand. This review is not just the match alone. I review everything. The booking, management's decisions, mannerisms, promos beforehand and afterhand. The match itself, obviously, on a multitude of factors. But I put everything into consideration when I put a mark in the good column, the bad column, or the ugly column. I don't just put something in the good just because it's a good match. There comes a time where management has to be held accountable. WWE has to be held accountable. Vince and Kennedy McMahon has to be held accountable. You gave this match away on Monday Night Raw. I already saw this match on Monday Night Raw, and it was good then too. In fact, I think it was longer than 17 minutes. You had the bullshit finish with Retribution, and then you try to sell us right before the main event. One of your big matches for this pay-per-view is the same match we saw Monday night. Why not just wait? Why did we need to see this Monday if you were going to put this on a pay-per-view? Because there was times I was watching this match last night, and I'm not even kidding you. I saw the same exact sequences that I saw on Monday night. You think that's a coincidence? It's because they already worked together, and they had the same sequence. I wonder why. We already saw it. Now, Vince is hoping that you just forget about it, or at least forget the sequences and the moves that you just saw Monday, right? It's like it's brand new, or because Retribution showed up, now we need a definitive winner. Here's a crazy concept. If that is one of your big pay-per-view matches, do not have the same match 6 nights earlier. Because no matter how good that match was last night, I was watching the same match as Monday. And this is a fucking pay-per-view with a half an hour left in the pay-per-view. No thanks. That goes into the bad column, unapologetically, for the reasons I just addressed. For me, the bad the booking of this match far outweighed any good that was in this match. It was good though, they say. Yeah, and it was good Monday. And it'll be good this Monday, tonight, if they decide to do it again. And next week, and next week. But if you see something 700 times, do you seriously need to keep seeing it? I love Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. Once it got to WrestleMania 26, I was the first one to say, I really don't need to see this twice. I will, but there's no way you're going to top WrestleMania 25. But we saw 26, and we all agreed that should be it. Nobody needed to see Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at 27 and 28 and 29. You just didn't. We didn't need to see Usos and New Day 917 times for the titles, because that's what we've seen them in. We know they have good matches. We don't need to see the New Day versus the Usos 917 times. This tag match, twice, 6 days apart. No thanks. That's into the bad. All they needed to do was wait 6 days. That's actually a tag team match that would have been a sleeper. That's a tag match at your pay-per-view 7 nights after SummerSlam that you could have gave us, and we would have been like, damn, what a match. But we already did that Monday. You're asking me to express the same feelings I did 6 nights ago at your pay-per-view 6 nights later? No thanks. I know that's extremely logical the way I'm speaking. I know I'm speaking in common sense terms, and that's not exactly so common. But that's how I speak. That goes into the bad column. We're 6 matches through. We have, 4 into the good, 1 in the ugly, and 1 in the bad. You cross out those uglies, or that 1 ugly, and that goes to 2 bads. So what you really have here is 4 to 3. So this main event better not go in the bad, because then we have a tiebreaker, and we got to go to the Iconics versus the 2/3 of the Riot Squad from the pre-show, which I hate doing. But if it's a tiebreaker, that's what we got to do. Match number 7 was a no-holds-barred main event for the Universal Championship. The whole match was about 12 minutes in length. This was Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. The match isn't even a triple threat. It's basically just Bray versus Braun in a SummerSlam rematch. A couple of times we see Alexa Bliss watching backstage, and it looked as if it was her Twisted Bliss character with her pigtails and kind of looking a little bit more like out there. A little more Bray Wyatt-esque, if you will. I like it. I like where they're going with this. Problem is, I don't even think Vince knows where he's going with it. But anyway, we saw Alexa Bliss a few times. Bray hits a suplex onto Braun. I was going to say late in this thing, but the entire match, again, was about 12 minutes. There was no late in this thing. This main event was the same match length that you would see Bobby Lashley and Apollo. I mean, that was what? 9 minutes, all right. This was what? Just almost 12? But anyway, we'll say it just for all intent and purposes. Late in this thing, Bray hits a suplex on Braun from the top rope. The entire ring collapses. We've seen this many times in the past. I remember Big Show was in on that. Was that with... Who was that with? Big Show, Mark Henry maybe? I don't know. I think Mark Henry was in a separate... I don't know. There was a bunch of spots where we've seen the ring collapse like we did last night. This is something that Vince likes to do with some of his big boys. I feel it was justified in this situation. It brings a little bit of... a little extra fucking spunk in an otherwise dead fucking matchup, because Roman Reigns is nowhere to be seen. In fact, he waited for that suplex, and then all of a sudden, who is it, Michael Cole? I'm glad you asked, BC. It's the biggest dog. The biggest dog, BC. It's the biggest dog. Who's this? Stupid, silly Steve, Vince McMahon's uncle. How you doing? All right, at least it's quiet. Choo-choo! Yeah. Yeah, no, don't mind the lunatic with his fucking microphone. That's right. All right. That was a much more quieter train, right? They're like, hey, look at him. He must be doing a review for thousands of people. See, maybe they knew that. Who knows? Let's not honk in his fucking ear. Anyway, Roman finally comes down. The biggest dog of them all, according to Michael Cole. And Roman Reigns hits the ring, and he fails to pick up the easy W. He tries to hit Braun Strowman with a chair 75 times. Doesn't work. He tries to hit Braun Strowman a few times. No, I think, I'm sorry, that was Braun Strowman he hit. Bray Wyatt is who he attempts to go hit, but Bray Wyatt gives him the mandible claw, and Roman Reigns does the low blow, the kick to the groin. So not only does Roman show up late, which is totally heel tactic, but then he kicks some low blow. He kicks the Fiend low blow. Not even just Braun, it was the Fiend, which is more playing into the heel, right? People like the Fiend. People like Bray Wyatt. People like him more than Braun Strowman. And he's the one who got low blowed. So you're seeing all these little heel vibes. And even when Roman came out, he came out with Paul Heyman, who stayed up at the ramp because Roman signed the contract late. So everything Roman was doing here was playing up to that heel and showing those, and you felt those heel vibes. I like that, man, obviously, for so many reasons that I addressed at the top of this review. I can't express enough. Man, it was so awesome to see this unfolding. And a lot of people are, you know, crying about it didn't make sense because the bell rang and Roman shouldn't be allowed in. Guys, I know, it's pro wrestling. What do you want to do? We always talk logic and common sense. You can yell and scream till you're blue in the face. The old man will never truly get it. Or he just doesn't care anymore. Or maybe he can't even comprehend what logic is anymore. But if you're using that to overshadow what we are finally seeing after years, what should be happening, Roman Reigns is turning heel in front of our eyes. And there are people in the community that are like, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, Spacey. I don't give a fuck. Your mom and your dad fucking probably didn't make sense, but at least you were created from it. But when you go back and look about how they're so different and how it didn't make sense for them to be together, not even for one night, but they did. For one night, they fucked. A lot of things don't make sense in this world. People put pineapples on their pizza. There are people that are right now driving around in their car alone with a mask on. There's shit that doesn't make sense. We can yell, we can scream, we can be befuddled. But you can't let it trump the bigger picture. The bigger picture, just like I said about Sasha and Bayley, yeah, they lost championships. I should be pissed. And a part of me is the fandom in me for Sasha, but I see the bigger picture, Sasha and Bayley down the road, hopefully, for the real title that matters. And the real lengthy title reign for Sasha in the future. That's what I'm envisioning. Same thing with Roman. For years, I've been craving, I've been blasting, literally blasting WWE. To just turn this guy, dude. Turn this guy. And he was too stubborn. And we are witnessing it after years. Years of me calling for this. And we're finally getting it. And this is what I'm hearing. This is literally what I'm hearing now. It just didn't make sense, man. I know. Trust me. But let's talk about the good that came from it, man. It's heel-ish. It's a douchebaggy thing to do. He's aligned himself with Mr. Douchebag, who we all love, by the way, Mr. Paul Heyman. But wrestling-wise, he's supposed to be Mr. Douchebag. And he's aligned himself with him. The low blow to Wyatt. I mean, there's so much good that came from it. And we're going to cry about him coming late in the match. And the bell rang and didn't make sense. I get it. You're right. Don't let that overshadow the bigger picture. We finally got what we all have been blasting WWE for. Craving, yelling, bitching, moaning, complaining. It took us years, but we finally got it. And what the fuck is everybody talking about? The negatives in it. Nah, that's one thing, but let's put that aside right now. Let's talk about all the bullshit. Truly, there are people in this community that will never be satisfied. They literally only want to bitch and complain, and I know this for a fact, because when they get what they want, they spend about a minute on it, and then they just talk about everything else that's bad and negative. That's how I know that you will never truly make some people truly fucking happy with this product. They literally only want to bitch, moan, and complain. Literally! Of course there was negative and bullshit. Of course we want to change. Of course we're going to raise our voices and be pissed about it. But fuck, is everybody not understanding what happened last night? Jumping off of what happened this past Friday when he was side by side with Paul Heyman, what happened last night is we got the most heelish version of Roman Reigns we have ever seen, and if they decide to put the foot Keep it on the pedal. Keep it on that gas pedal. This could be fucking epic. Roman Reigns as a bad ultimate heel destroyer is what I have been craving for. If done correctly, within 12 months' time, people will be cheering this guy more than they ever did when they were trying to force him as a face. Am I the only one that sees what's happening? Last night, we're getting a heel Roman Reigns. And nobody gives a fuck. They took the negative and they're far outweighing the big positive here. Roman spears Braun Strowman. Roman picks up the championship. Just like Sasha dropping the title last night. I didn't necessarily like it as a fan. I love Bray Wyatt. I love the Fiend character. And him dropping the title 7 nights after SummerSlam pisses me the fuck off as a fan. But as a call it down the middle, truthful, honest, hard-hitting, but beyond, ridiculously beyond honest, when I call these reviews, I have to say this was good for so many more reasons than it wasn't. This goes into the good column. Roman Reigns as a heel picking up that title far trumps anybody losing that title. Bray Wyatt the Fiend is so good. His character is so good. Yes, it is going to take a lot of investment from that company. That is the part that kind of concerns me. But if Bray Wyatt has his hand in that cookie jar and has say, which he does, Bray has a lot of say in his character, then going forward, I truly believe Bray Wyatt will be okay. This is bigger than even Bray Wyatt. This has been something we have been yearning for years. Something we never thought Vince McMahon was going to do. And last night, it went full throttle. I saw a man turn heel, and I never thought I'd see it happen. Roman Reigns walked into that ring, what was left of it. Didn't even acknowledge the crowd or the virtual ThunderDome experience. He threw his low blows. He came when 3/4 of the match was already over. Took that title and he realigned himself with Paul Heyman. Everything I saw out of this dude screamed fucking heel. I have been calling for it for years. I would be a fucking hypocrite if I came on this review and I said that this was anything but great. WWE doesn't do enough good shit to warrant a great column yet. But that was beyond great. If they only did this years ago. Better late than never is the old saying. Well, we'll take it. Because the only other option was what? The Fiend keeps it. And guess what, guys? We're going to get the same Roman Reigns. Mr. 50-50. 50 reaction is cheering for him. 50% doesn't want to see him. And the tweener, right? The in-betweener Roman. He's going to end up getting the belt from the Fiend anyway. Would you rather that? If that was the final result, I'd rather see Roman Reigns a fucking heel. I'd rather see you steer the Fiend in a different direction then. I don't even give a fuck if he's out of the title picture. Put him in something awesome storyline-wise because the Fiend will put the story on his back. Old Wyatt family Bray Wyatt used to put stories on his back. He's got no problem being fucking epic in his storytelling. He doesn't even need a championship title or a championship title storyline. The Fiend will be fine. Last Sunday at SummerSlam, you trapped him into a corner. He had to walk out with the title, and that's what happened. But the way they took the title off of him far trumps the bad that it does. If you don't think the Fiend can bounce back, then you never believed in the Fiend. And you never believed in Bray Wyatt. If you're talking about more negative than positive this morning, or this afternoon, this week, while Roman Reigns just turned heel and you're talking more of the negatives than the positives, then you never wanted a true Roman Reigns heel turn anyway. You just chose him as your whipping boy, and that's who you wanted to be negative toward. Not I. I was negative. I was too mean. I critiqued too much. I overanalyzed when it came to Roman because I knew what should be happening, and it finally happened. Don't give a fuck who likes it or who doesn't like it. That's what needed to happen. Roman Reigns as a heel. Everything that happened last night in that main event or the night itself meant nothing, pales in comparison to what Roman Reigns accomplished last night in that heel turn. Finally, after years, we got the Roman we need. He needed this more than anybody. Roman Reigns now needs to really tap into himself and find out who he truly is. Does he have that it factor? We're going to find out. When he was with the Shield as bad guys, that doesn't count. This counts. This is his true heel moment in heel run. If he's good at this, he's going to be cheered more than ever before. If he fails, at least we know Roman was never the guy. But we owe him that run. And he needs to find out for himself. This is what I've been calling for years. It finally happened. You're damn right that goes into the good. Ultimately, this is a good pay-per-view. Some of it I was generous on them. It was 7 days after SummerSlam. I know that's hard. Other moments on this pay-per-view, I gave them harsh ratings. Justified, I feel. I try to be as fair always on these reviews, and I think I did that in this one. Hopefully you guys know that I'm coming from a pure spot when reviewing these matches and these cards. Hopefully you guys know that I am coming from a pure, honest mindset. Nothing gets by me on these when it comes to logic, common sense, and sheer stupidity will always shine so bright. But when I see something finally happening that's long overdue, we need to talk about that. That needs to be discussed. That needs to be thrusted to the forefront. Not everything needs to be spotlighted on the negative parts. Sometimes we have to put the spotlight on the good because it's catastrophic what it does for not just the stories going forward, but the actual individuals. Much love to all you guys. I'm the Amplified Man, and I gotta tell ya, I'm fucking out, dog. We gotta continue on our journey. I gotta get away from these fucking, whatever fucking town I'm in now. It's a nice little town. I just picked a spot that's kind of fucking noisy. Near fucking train tracks, go figure. But it's time to continue on my journey, guys. The birthday hiatus continues, and we're roaming the country, rocking out, and whooping that ass. Hopefully you guys are too. Till next time, I hope to be with you guys for the Raw review and reaction for tomorrow. I can't guarantee it. Check the channel. You should be subbed and notified anyway. Until then, the Ant-Man says...